Hi everyone, welcome to the Nashville Youth Design Team Summer Youth Voice Exhibition. Thank you so much for joining us today. So the Nashville Youth Design Team is a group that was started in July of 2020, and we're a group of 18 high school students that come together from different neighborhoods across Nashville to make the community a better place for youth. Our work focuses on finding data, and then we use that data to make built environment design solutions. And then we temporarily install those solutions to advocate for permanent change in the city. Last summer, we focused on our Dream City workshop, which is a workshop where we asked youth to design a dream city and then apply those ideas to Nashville. From that workshop, we designed solutions, and two of those last summer were Youth Ways, which was a youth wayfinding pathway through East Nashville, and an upsized playground in Cedar Hill Park.
Our work this summer consisted of looking at the Looby Community Center, which includes baseball fields, a library, the center itself, and a theater, which are all handled by separate entities. So our work this summer focused on an extension of a broader partnership between the Civic Design Center and the Looby Community Center, and a plan called the Looby Community Campus Plan. Here we aimed at creating a plan centered around the community at Looby, while also considering surrounding assets such as schools, parks, and roads.
So earlier this summer, we hosted a block party at Looby. There we had various sports activities, arts and crafts, and more. From that, we collected data using precedent boards, which we asked the youth that attended to engage with, in order to figure out what they most desired that could make sense. We also had a Dream Center activity where we asked youth to design their own Dream Community Center. We also accumulated some observational data. So after the event, we realized that even though it was very fun and well attended, the youth that did attend were younger than our target audience.
In an effort to get more from teens during our week of research, we created a survey with 3 key sections: interest in activities, accessibility and transportation, and assets and needs in the local community centers. We sent it out to our peers and received 109 participants in 24 hours, with 125 final participants being reported as of our presentations today. We created our design by choosing areas of the Looby Community Campus to focus on and infusing the types of activities we felt were needed. This was based on the information collected during the block party and the survey. We then spent a week working with our mentors to create youth-oriented designs. We then began putting together a concrete plan for each of our sites and finalized locations. This image shows the full site plan with all of their locations. So we noticed that there was a need within the basketball court, and one group focused on enhancing the space with more artistic aspects. So in order to include more safe and accessible pathways throughout the campus, especially for the nearby schools, one group focused on improving those routes. Another group determined that the pool was lacking amenities to make it a cohesive space, so one group worked on improving the accessibility of the pool and making a more dedicated space for the teen room. Finally, we found that food is a common attraction for teens, so one group focused on revamping the concession stand. And we also found that teens are more drawn to flexible spaces, so that group focused on revamping the baseball field so that it could be open to more mixed-use programming. Here's the order of our presentations today. First up, we have pathways, followed by the concessions and baseball fields, then the basketball courts, and last but not least, the pool and team.
So for an outline of our day, we will take questions after all of the presentations, which you can submit through Mint. After that, we will have you vote on the design you'd most like to see come to life through a Google form. The rest of our presentation will be spent walking you through each of our designs. The next group we'll have is practice.
Hello, my name is Luke.
I'm Addison.
I'm Alex.
And I'm Mia.
Our team is focusing on pathways. Our mission is to put a system in place that will allow youth, specifically students from John Early Middle School and Whole Jackson Montessori, to commute to the Looby Community Center after school safely and directly.
And in order to accomplish this, we will add new walking paths, crosswalks, and school zone signs.
We surveyed 125 teens, and 84 teens, right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay. We surveyed 125 teens. When asked about things that prevent youth from visiting spaces, 48 stated location and 87 stated they just didn't have a ride to get there.
In the same survey, we asked factors that would increase youth attendance to youth-oriented spaces, and 84 responded with accessibility. That data emphasized how location, transportation, and accessibility all greatly hinder youth from being able to reach the spaces dedicated towards them. So keeping that in mind, we made our designs with the goal of improving the pathways around the campus, as well as making the space safer and accessible for people to navigate around, specifically those at the nearby schools, John Early and Whole Jackson.
This is a context map we have created to illustrate our plan. The roads marked in blue represent existing sidewalks. The areas marked in purple represent places we want to put sidewalks, so places where sidewalks would be beneficial. The places marked in dark blue represent school zone signs and signals. As you can see, we place them entering and exiting the school zones, and it's especially important to have school zone signs and signals right here. This is Dominican and Ninth. It is part of the high entry network, which means a lot of people have gone entered there. The yellow marks an existing crosswalk, but there is only one, and it is pretty much useless because it just leads out into the middle of the street to some random person's house where there is also no sidewalk. In orange, we marked places where we think crosswalks would be beneficial. In a lighter orange, we created a path that represents how a student from John Early could get to the Looby Community Center today before the plan has been implemented. As you can see, it goes through grass, which means it's not wheelchair accessible. It also crosses a busy street that has no crosswalk. The path marked in brown represents a path a student could take after our plan has been implemented. As you can see, it is all on sidewalk, and we will have added a crosswalk to make it safer. This is the site plan. As you can see, we've added the crosswalks and sidewalk on Keller Street down here. And then on the right, we decided to include this. This is a blind curve on 10th Avenue from John Early. And we thought it would be important to have a safe sidewalk so that the teams coming from John Early can have a safe way to get to the Looby Community Center. We also wanted to add that there is a student that is in a wheelchair at Whole Jackson, so we wanted to create this pathway so that those people that are in wheelchairs have a safe way to get to the community center.
These are the current views of what the Looby Community Center looks like right now. This is a current top-down view of what the Looby Community Center looks like. This is our proposed idea for the Looby Community Center. Here we have a sidewalk that we added to make sure you don't have to walk in the driveway or on the grass. So you can walk this way and get all the way to the bottom, or yeah, the entrance thing here. which we've expanded into a plaza, which people can hang out in under the trees because there's benches. And then we have a fun optional sidewalk people can take, not only just to walk to get there, but also to play on if they feel like it. This is the current street view of Looby Community Center. This is our proposed idea. We've added a sidewalk with a guy walking on it to show that you can indeed walk on the sidewalk. And then, this is the Looby entrance currently. This is our proposed idea. You can see the sidewalk from earlier, and you can see the fun sidewalk weaving in and out of the people and some trees. And then you can see how far the current walkway has been expanded.
This is the current view of Keller Street. When you're coming from the playground from Old Jackson, you can see that there's no crosswalk. So this is our proposed design. We decided to add a crosswalk, and this crosswalk can be something fun. As you can see, this one is not like the typical white, like the white crosswalk. This one is like a school of fish. And so we just decided that we can do something fun, but also something safe as well. Here is another before of Keller Street, just on the other end. And as you can see, there's no sidewalk along that line, just grass. And then the only existing crosswalk goes straight into someone's house. So for our proposed design, we moved the crosswalk up, and then we extended this sidewalk out so there's not such kind of like disconnect. And then we also extended the sidewalk all the way down to the end of the street so people have a direct place to walk in. That's not just grass. And then this is another before Keller Street. Just a bit further down, and right here you can see this break in the fence. Now the kids at Old Jackson and John Early already used this as an entrance to get into the park. However, it's just a break in the fence. So we were proposing that we make it fun and inviting by adding an archway. And again, here is that sidewalk that we place on all the way down to the street.
Okay. In order to make change quickly, we are going to employ tactical urbanism. Our first idea is to paint a sidewalk on the road, which looks like lava. Luke will explain to you why that is in a few moments. However, we gotta go.
So I designed a sidewalk that is lava with rocks floating into it because I know that kids love to play floor is lava. And I thought it would be fun for them to jump between the painted rocks. Also, I do want to mention that this tactical urbanism plan, it will be temporary. It's just until we can put a more permanent solution in place. It's to influence decision makers.
Yes, but decision makers, we do want to influence the decisions so we can have a permanent thing there. Our second proposal is that we paint a crosswalk on the road here. And our third is that we make some school zone signs out of either cardboard or metal if we can.
Corrugated plastic.
Corrugated plastic.
Our plan connects to other designs because it will make it so that the sites of other groups' designs are more accessible to young people. For example, the sidewalk gives access to the teen room and archway gives access to the concession stand.
So in conclusion, some of the biggest obstacles that youth face when trying to get to youth-oriented spaces is transportation, accessibility, and location. And our plan to add new pathways will hopefully reduce or greatly reduce these obstacles that you face. So it's more accessible and safer for them to reach these spaces. Adding these things will make this space more accessible and safer, especially for the students at the high schools, Jackson and John Early, to really directly navigate the center and make it safe. Thank you so much for listening. Do you have any questions? Yeah, no questions. We'll go on with our next group, which is Concession.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yes.
Out of curiosity, are hours also an issue in any way? Is that part of accessibility? Like how often, like when they close, are they open on weekends? That sort of thing.
That definitely like talks about some of the other things in the campus, like for example, which is what another people. But yeah, it doesn't say hours, and like when people can get definitely some part in it. But yeah. Any more questions? Okay, now we'll go on with our next group, I'm sorry, is baseball fields and concession stands.
Hello, my name is Sosa and I'm a rising junior.
Hello, my name is Ivy. I'm also a rising junior.
Hello, my name is Lois and I'm a rising sophomore.
My name is Willa and I'm a rising senior.
My name is Davion and I'm a rising sophomore.
Our design focuses on the baseball field and concession stand in Looby Community Center. We focused on the area because we saw that there was a lot of potential for youth activities and a space to get healthy food.
So this was one of the questions on the survey that we sent to high schoolers. The question asks, what are your hobbies of teens? And the majority said sports and the arts. Because of this, we knew they were a priority and we wanted to implement them in our design.
Here was another question that was on the survey and that we grafted. One of our like something that caught our eye while grabbing this was restaurants and like kids going to get something to eat after school. And we found that like if we can find more places that's accessible and like healthy for kids, that would be a priority.
All right, so this is looking more from the data from the block party. So we use these boards, we provided photos and kids could put stickers on what they liked. And so we did see that they liked the idea of concession stand, they liked the idea of additional seating. But one really big trend from the basketball courts to just general seating was shade. So we thought that if we incorporate shade into our plan, then that will just draw more people in general, even though this came from a younger age group than our target. That still informs that shade would be really helpful.
So with that data, we came up with a major goal that we wanted to make it more accessible and a more inviting space. So first up, we wanted to renovate the concession stand, give it some more usability. Second off, we wanted to provide more shade so that people that go there can be comfortable and also enhance the existing facilities to get out physical and creative energy.
Here are a couple of photos of the before, like any of our ideas and stuff are created, and here's a couple of views of the area.
So this shows the current site context and it shows the layout that's not really doing its best to attract teens to the area as it is. So you can see for reference, 1 is the Looby Community Center, and our area is down here. The 7 and 8 is the baseball fields, and 6 is the concession stand.
So this map encompasses a larger area and it shows the relationship between Looby right here and the nearby parks, Buena Vista, Ted Rhodes, and Rosa Parks. And then it also shows the relation of Looby's baseball fields and the nearby schools, John Early and Cole Jackson.
All right, so here's the larger neighborhood scope. So in blue, you can see the current walkways, how you might get to the Looby campus from the schools, which the Pathways group hit on earlier. And then you can also see in the orange, you have John Early Middle School, and the yellow is Cole Jackson. And then up in green at the top is the Looby Community Center.
This is the site context of where we want to specifically renovate. Right here, you can see the Looby baseball fields and concession stand. And this is our site plan. What we wanted to do is add a pavilion where teens could socialize and sit down under shade, along with swings where people can also get their energy out. We also added a pathway that would connect from the middle school that's south below the Looby campus that would connect to the parking lot right above this area. And at 2, you can see a mixed use area that includes umbrellas where kids can play around and have shade. And then 6, you can see trees and hammocks where kids could also sit down and socialize with friends. And at 5, you could see the concession stand where teens and youth could spend money to get healthy food. And we use that money to we use that revenue to help the community center and fix any repairs that we have.
So this picture is our vision for the Looby concession stand. As you can see, we wanted to add lights so that there could be increased functionality even at night. We also added shading seating so that people can have a place to sit down afterwards. And then also we wanted to incorporate art and let the community paint a mural on the concession stand so that it becomes more obvious what the purpose is for, and also so the community can come together.
This is the bleachers for the baseball field. We decided to add shade over them so it's more comfortable to watch a game and to the friend with family.
Okay, so for a temporary pop-up event that we wanted to have, we were going to put up a week-long pop-up pavilion that would be open for local programming for the people in the community. So they can schedule any kind of programs they want. And then also we would be setting up a temporary sidewalk and picnic tables near the concession stand. While this does meet our $2,000 budget, the sidewalk could be upgraded with additional funding, as well as the blue box, which shows our second pop-up pavilion that we would like to put up. And also the current sidewalk material isn't very wheelchair or wheel friendly. So that's why we would like to upgrade it so that it can be more accessible.
All right, and tying into the tactical urbanism, we thought it's great if you can put a pavilion up for the week, but how do you get people there? So we had the idea of having a Buena Vista Fiesta, which is a weekend-long festival kind of that has live music, block party, local vendors, and so it draws people out and lets them know that the pavilion is there. It also has a chili fest, which we learned from a community member is something that the neighborhood used to have many years ago, and so it's bringing back an old tradition. And so we thought if we can get people out here this weekend, then they know that the following week, the pavilion is open for their use, for their programming, and that way that they can get the most use out of it for that week that it's up.
So we connected with the Pathways group to create an entrance to the park from Hull Jackson that's safer and more accessible for kids to get into the park. And we also collaborated with the basketball group, so we could create a path that goes into the skate park and is also skateboard and wheelchair accessible. And our bigger plan for Looby is providing a more accessible space that's available anytime and will actually promote the outdoor use at Looby. And we believe our festival will help.
All right, so to kind of bring it all back together, the main problem is that right now there's a lack of teen-oriented programming on the Looby campus. And we also observed that the concession stand could be used more effectively. And we saw that teens have a desire for more ways to get creativity out. And so our solution fits so well because it targets teens, especially youth as a whole, but especially teens. It takes the current facilities like the concession stand and improves upon them. So not everything is new, but there are some new elements that can attract different people.
And thank you for listening to our exhibition. Any questions? And here's a group of those. Any questions?
I'm really excited about the idea of the concession stand and wondered if you thought any more about like a type of vendor that might be especially attractive to youth, or because I think it right now it pretty much only operates during ball games, I think. And so like especially that after school timing, like are there, did you think about like the business itself? And if you didn't, that's fine. I'm just kind of curious. Yeah.
Yeah, it was basically like we was gonna try to like do it like all around so that can be like a job for the community center. So like it can help kids like we were saying about like the restaurants and food after school. So if they want to come to Looby Community Center to get some food, they can go to the concession stand and yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah. So like after school hours is like the time you were focused on.
Yeah.
And we haven't thought specifically about what vendor we could specifically use there, but that definitely is a great thought. Like, how can we specifically get food there that teams would like, and that would help Johnny as well.
And maybe at the festival, you sort of like put feelers out for people that might want to.
For sure. Are there any other questions? Awesome, thank you.
And our next group we'll be having coming up is the basketball.
And our area of focus for the Looby Community Center was the basketball court. After we did our research and toured the campus, sent out a survey to teenagers and talked with community members, we found that basketball was the most common activity among the youth. So in our surveys, teenagers mentioned that they don't have a specific space where they can do what they enjoy, which is basketball, because the indoor court at Looby is predominantly used by the younger kids. And I know I have a little brother, I have little cousins. At any family function, we're in separate places. So we wanted to separate, we wanted them to have a separate area essentially.
Beginning of the month, we hosted the block party at the Looby Community Center in order to collect data that is shown here. But it was not enough, so we sent surveys, as you all know, and we got, this is the statistic that we got, and the most area was popular was art room and outside spaces. So we integrated those themes and make it our design that is going to show.
Another question that we asked in our survey was the teens' hobbies and interests. And the top two that we found were sports and arts. So we wanted to find a way to combine those both. Our plan is to ultimately create a mural on the basketball court. We would also turn it into 2 full courts. But the mural would be something that kids from the community center could go out and like paint a different portion of it. We also wanted to add creative seating and lighting. And we also heard that the skate park was something that was requested by the community center. And since the basketball court is currently located also in a parking lot, we thought that that could be a way to separate the both for more safety there.
So
this is a site context for the Looby Community Center. It's located off of Rosa Parks Boulevard, which is highlighted in pink. And then we have the neighborhood and side streets highlighted in green with the parking for the center in blue. We also found 3 of the nearest basketball courts to the center. These might be places that teens already go to play, and we thought it could be maybe a future like collaboration for tournaments, mural artwork, and that sort of thing.
This is our site plan. It dives deeper into what the court would look like when it's finished. So So it would be 2 full courts with the mural, of course, and then pump tracks separating it from the parking lot. Then during our block party, we noticed that a lot of the kids took the choice of leaving from the indoor court in this upper blue parking lot down to the outdoor court, and we wanted to make a more safe pathway down to that. That's what the blue line is. And then the wheelchair accessible route is on the other right corner. And yeah, right there.
Here are the before, here are the currently, the photos of the courtyard that we're working on. As you can see, it's not really inviting. It's not really bringing youth. So with our design, we wish youth can more, youth can come more to the courtyard and use it.
This is our court perspective. It shows how we envisioned the court to look like when it's finished with the mural. We utilized colors from the Buena Vista neighborhood signs, which were blue and green, and we also took colors from neighboring schools like John Early and Phil Jackson, which is where the maroon and white came from. Even though the paint would fade over time, we hope that it would be sort of a community project that the kids can work with to repaint every year or whenever it starts to fade.
As you can see, here's a space where the courtyard is. Here's the courtyard, and this here's an land. And so we wanted to do something with that. So we put some decoration vegetation. As you can see, there's a lamp of paper mache, I think it's called, and we could use that like lighting, and we use mid-circle design for the flowers, so it makes it more beautiful and make the place more attractive, and it gives identity to the community center as well.
This is a perspective for our pump track and skate park. We can have bikes going around this outside area. We would have various ramps in the middle and then a larger bowl for skating.
This is the section view for our pump track. It shows the depth of the bowl and other features like the bike ramps. We wanted to make it a fun and engaging space for the kids, while also providing a buffer between car park and the court.
Moving to tactical urbanism, we decided to create the mural with our budget, and it's possible. So we're gonna create we're gonna paint the courtyard so it looks more inviting to youth. So, and also to separate the parking lot, we decided to add cones, and we also wanted to integrate a pathway to the other parking lot that you can see over here. So we're gonna use these bricks to create a temporary pathway to the courtyard. And we're also gonna add some fun seating. This is our budget, so it's gonna be possible.
We also plan on hosting a tournament. We will reach out to youth in the neighborhood, from the community center, from nearby schools, and just kind of have a weekend event. So we collaborated with the pool and teen room, the concession stands group, and the pathways group. With the pool and teen room and the concession stands, we all use the same colors that we talked about earlier in our murals. To kind of create a more cohesive space. And then for pathways coming from the baseball fields and the other side of the campus, we thought it would be cool to have that pathway where people could come in and skate, to come to the skate park, or walk, come to the basketball court.
So to summarize, the main problem that we focused on solving was that there was not a lot of teen activity at the community center due to inaccessibility, lack of transportation, or friends not attending. And so we decided to target these problems with our design by upgrading the outdoor basketball court and making it specifically for teenagers so that they can have a space of their own to use, and incorporating art and sports together so that they can get energy out in multiple ways.
Question?
I'm curious about the center, also kind of for personal use, like how are they weatherproof? Say more about that, please.
So I'm not an expert in this area, but I heard there was a way to make them waterproof. And so that was another thing that we thought could be in our activity for the kids at the center. And then just kind of making the lighting in the space more like fun and creative.
To add on to that, there's also ways to make them biodegradable, so if they were to wash away, that it would be okay for the environment.
A lot of the projects involve a lot of outdoor space used by teens, but they're unsupervised. Have you considered a way to make like a blue light emergency call or something, so if something happens, there's access to help?
I think that's a great thing to mention. I don't think we thought much about it, but I definitely think that we should focus a lot on the safety and make sure that they have the resources they need in case something.
Anything else?
Thank you.
And our final group for the morning is going to be pool and team.
Hello, my name is Kylie.
I'm Alex.
I'm Aiden.
And I'm Netta, and we're talking about the pool in the teen room. During the summer block party, we had president boards where people could put stickers on there, and we asked teens a lot of questions. One of the questions that we asked was, how could you improve your community center? And the top two things that people said was the pool and teen center. Since not a lot of teens came to this event, we made a survey, and one of those questions that we asked in the survey is, what spaces do you use? And again, people tend to use the library and the pool room a lot in a community center. From our data, we determined that teens would likely want to see the teen room and pool improve, sorry. North Nashville doesn't really have many pools, which makes Looby's pool the only outdoor pool available in the area. As of right now, the pool is very boring and unwelcoming with the lack of seating, shading, greenery, and color.
So like my groupmate Kylie just said, the pool in general is very much lacking any sort of amenities for the youth. And so here is a proposed site plan and an aerial view of it. So just quickly going through this with you all. Number one, talks about the seating and the variety of seating we propose to add. Mainly chase lounges, the ones you'll see at like Nashville Shores and all sorts of things. Just for people to sit down and chill out, as well as get parents to watch over the kids. And also dining table, those circle dining tables with umbrellas on top, as well as high top chairs. And then second of all, we wanted to add a shade cell. There is a lack of shading throughout the entire pool, so we wanted to add a shade cell for people to get away from the sun. We wanted to add water jets as well for kids to play in and just to liven up the place. Number four covers the plantings we wanted to add, mainly trees, shade trees, as well as wildflower beds, so we can add more greenery and liveliness to the place. Number five covers the new entrances we'll be adding, and we'll get into that more later, as well as the terrace we wanted to add, which one of our groups mentioned before, but we'll get into more detail as well. And 7 is in general the upgraded pool deck we wanted to make, where we wanted to add a mural as well as expand the place so we can add all these sorts of amenities. And last but not least, the pathway we wanted to get through the parking lots as well as the basketball court because there is none.
So here's another perspective of the site plan. So you can see the sunshade, chase lounges with umbrellas, a seating and dining area, and green space. And then we also hope to make the pool deck itself more colorful with a new material or mural. And then here's the hillside view. So we have a trellis with vines to provide privacy for the pool deck area. And then we wanted to create a transition between the pool and the rest of the campus. So we have brass terrace steps with concrete barriers and trees for shade. And this could serve as a place to relax, play, or sit and watch games happening on the basketball court.
This is another picture of the pool. We added bar seatings because if you have a child that's in the basketball court, but also that's in the pool, you can watch them there. Another common issue with the pool is that people tend to jump on top of the fence, so we hope to fix the fence. We also hope to open the pool more in the summer since the pool only in the summer opens from 1 to 4 and people tend to jump on the fence. So we're hoping to open the pool more in the summer.
Here is our circulation diagram with our proposed plan. And currently, the only way through the pool is actually the building, which can get a little tedious and seems like you could do more with it. So with our pathway, we wanted to add 4 new entrances to the pool. And here from the back parking lot, you'll have a clear entrance into the pool from there. And as you go on your way down here, you'll have 2 entrances here from each side of the terrace. And then from the front parking lot, where most of the people will be going through, you would think there would be a fence entrance there, but there's not. So we wanted to add something there as well. Here is the shaded areas that will be covered. So from obviously the shade, so we'll cover this sort of area around the pool, as well as we want to add umbrellas on each side of the seating and chase lounges, so that way people can get away from the sun while sitting down. Here with the trees and with the trees, we hope that the terrace will be mostly covered, and with the dining tables that are 4-seated dining tables, mentioning again, we'll have those with umbrellas in the middle as well.
Now for the teen room, if you've ever been to Looby Community Center, you know that there's only a table and 4 chairs. And it's not welcoming for teens when you think of a teen room. Teens, when they want a teen room, they want games, they want arts, they want more seating somewhere for them to stay at. So this is what we're proposing. We're proposing more fun seats, more color in the room, an art section, a desk, a game room, a book nook for people to read, and just personal spaces for people to study in.
Our main goal is to implement the elements of our design.
So we realized we could implement a lot of the goals from our main design through tactical urbanism. So for a relatively low budget, we could still achieve shade, pool toys, greenery, seating, and then most importantly, a buoy line between the shallow end and the 12-foot deep end, which was a safety concern that many residents expressed.
Our design connects with other groups because it connects with the basketball court. Not only does it have the colorful mural that they're using for the basketball court, but also there's a pathway that transitions from the basketball court to the pool.
So third spaces are any spaces that are apart from school and home. For teens, they're places to socialize, meet new people, and relax in. So community centers are really important third spaces, and it's imperative that we make them accessible to teens. At Looby, we designed the teen room to be more comfortable and include useful tools and games. And then we also redesigned the pool not only for teens, but for all members of the Buena Vista community to have shade, seating, and greenery. Through our tactical urbanism plan, for a relatively low budget, we can solve these issues in the short term while using it as a way to advocate for long-term change. Thank you. questions.
I can't remember, is the concession stand at the baseball field close to the pool? Like, could it serve as a concession stand for the pool?
It could definitely be, but you'd have to walk down a path a little ways to get to there.
For consideration for use of the pool area in the non-summer months?
So a lot of the residents, when we spoke to them, would wish in the long term for an indoor pool, because this is one of the only community centers that still has an outdoor one, but obviously that would be a much bigger project.
Where would the team room located inside of it?
So it's actually in the library.
Okay.
That's attached to the center.
Gotcha.
Any other questions? Okay, great. Thank you so much.
All right, that is all for our presentations. We want to thank everyone for spending the morning with us. If you have any further questions, you can scan the QR code, and there's also some QR codes around in the back there on the side and up here as well. If you have any further questions. So if you want to scan those.
And we're supposed to vote on.
Oh yeah, if you scan the QR code as well, you can vote on which design you would like to see first. So I'll give you guys a few seconds.
Is there budget for each project, or is there the vote determines which project you're going to do in the fall, right?
Yes, so the vote, when you're voting, it determines which project we're going to be doing in the fall. We do have a budget, but like we said, with you guys voting through that QR code, that's the project that we will be doing this fall. Out of all the designs that you guys saw. All right, thank you guys so much for coming out once again. We really enjoyed you guys.